In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
Hey! It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? 2? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, roll your ass!
It's Warhorse, and I actually didn't know that I could be behind the video in that way, and that's really cool. So, welcome to Raw and Order, the wrestling booking unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet with its own personalized Warhorse intro. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to pretend it is because, I got to feel good about myself. We are back, joined as always by my partner in crime fighting, District Attorney Vincent Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm living the dream. I'm excited because there's I guess a special guest.
Yeah, a special guest or JLB
is back. I am back. When did you guys get that done?
At the Zello Pro. Yeah.
Zello. Oh snap! It wasn't even a cameo thing. Nice.
Nope, it was just asked him to at Zello Pro.
Nice.
I had to give him a monster.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have to. I mean, you promised it to him and then chose to. But because JLB is back, he is still a whore, but he is still our whore. So you can head on over to Spreadshop, Raw and Order, wbu.spreadshop.com. MySpreadshop.com. I don't remember. The link's in the doobly-doos. And get yourself a JLB is a whore, but he's our whore shirt. Because he is ours.
Fair enough. I am no one's property. My body, my choice. Damn it.
Nope, ours. All ours.
It's not your body we want. It's your voice.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean you were off for all those weeks. You still managed to cheat on us with another podcast. So
Well, I mean, to be fair, it was an hour situation. If we did this at 7, I would be here too. I would have been, but 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock for you guys is 11 o'clock for me. So it definitely
it's
a little late.
Difficult
a little late
for a virgin to make babies, and we have babies. So
yeah.
But I thank you guys for dealing with me there through those 3 weeks. I finally finished my internship, and I am a happy camper. I am back, and I am excited because, wow, we did have a lot of wrestling, and there should be a lot of crimes going around because there's a lot of TKVK drama happening. So should be fun.
Yes.
Should be fun. But this is brought to us by somebody. I just forget who it was brought to us by. Did you already mention that?
Well, I did not. I will get into it. We are part of the Tatnisco Podcast Network. Jeez, he leaves for a couple weeks and thinks he knows everything and can just tell us how to do our job.
Sounds about Vince McMahon. Yeah, it's what. Yeah.
But we are part of the Tatnisco Podcast Network. And as such, you can head on over to tatnisco.com. Link is in the doobly-doos down below that you can go and check that out, see the other shows on the network there, listen to them, tell them we sent you, and then come back here. We live stream this 2 times a week, Sunday nights and Tuesday nights, 10:30 Central, whatever. You can do the conversion. I'm not your mom.
Just Google for that. Yep.
But yeah, you can do that. Come join us on the live stream, or you can listen to it later on either the replays on YouTube or Facebook, or on the podcast. Link is in the doobly-doo for all of that. We would appreciate a like and a share and a subscribe to our YouTube channel or on the Facebook page so that you get notified when we go live. But also it just helps us out in lots of ways there. But we're gonna go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this here podcast. The wrestling crimes, right? This show is all about reporting on the wrestling crimes. And yeah, we use that term loosely because we really we're just people who like to bitch about wrestling. So, sometimes crimes are positive.
Sometimes mark out, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I always open the door for other people to go first if they would like to.
So I guess I'll kick it off because it's not necessarily going to be something that I think neither of you perhaps might mention as a bad thing. But I do think it is it's a thing that might actually be a little bit of trouble. It might be troubling in the future if he keeps going at it. But my crime is going to be towards actually Tony Khan. So my crime is simply for the fact that Tony Khan has to kind of answer and respond to everything that the WWE is doing, to the point where it's making him be a little overzealous and a little bit too cocky. I'm referring to I didn't necessarily mind the whole hey Vince, yeah, I'm gonna do also a commercial free half hour on the first Rampage half hour as well. Since you did it, it's a little petty, but I'm gonna do it too. I was kind of okay with that, but then he kind of just keeps going in response to other things. I have more money than you and I can do it for much longer. He does his whole little Ted Turner comment. If Ted Turner knew about wrestling for 1% more than I did, WCW wouldn't have been out of thing. Like, he's just commenting on a whole bunch of things. And I think Tony Khan, although I get it, he's excited and he's ready for this war that's happening and yada, yada, yada. But he does need to just sort of slow his roll and just kind of do what you were doing. That's what Vince is reacting to. You don't need to react to what Vince is reacting to again, because then you're kind of playing into Vince's whole little concept of just batting, seeing who's who has the biggest the biggest something, bank account, if you will. You know what I mean?
Which is Tony Khan.
Which is Tony Khan. I don't know by how much necessarily, because if we're just counting Tony Khan money and not his father.
Well, considering Tony Khan's listed as co-owner for both the Jaguars and is it Fordham that he owns?
I think it's two soccer teams actually. He legit owns.
Well, yeah, he's also listed as co-owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? He also owns his own company, that's sports analytics, right?
Right.
I
googled
net worth
7
before.
billion. That's it. I've googled. It says 7 billion, but that's with his dad. So 7 billion is with his dad. Vince is it's weird,
stupid button.
What was that? Let's play that.
It's just
I like that game.
It's just a 30-second
We're counting
countdown.
down.
I just accidentally clicked somewhere. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I get what you're saying, but I am going to counterpoint this. I'm going to argue against it. So I'll put myself big here because I always like.
Hold on, even the Roman thing. Did you guys read his comment that he commented towards Roman?
Did you read Roman's comment first? He was replying to Roman Reigns' comment.
Maybe I didn't read Roman's comment.
Yeah, he was replying. Roman Reigns gave a long comment, basically saying AEW is not competition to us. AEW is not even in our league. I'll find the whole comment for you. But he was responding to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns basically said, he tries to show up to our club, we'll kick him out. And so he was responding. Here's my counterpoint to this, and I don't know if DFA will be on the same page here in the end or not, but WCW won the war back in the 90s for 83 weeks straight, right? And they won it by playing the game better than Vince McMahon. You don't win this war. You don't win viewerships. You don't win all this stuff being the nice guy and just being the wrestling company. Fucking Sinclair has done that for almost 20 years with Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor has been the better wrestling company than WWE for the better part of 20 years. But ratings wise doesn't win. You win by being a promoter. And what's the root of the word promoter? Promote. Your job is to be a promoter, to promote your product, to sell your product.
Prom's the root.
Prom. Yes, your job is to go to prom. No, your job is to be a promoter, to hawk your stuff. It goes back to the Carney roots of professional wrestling. Your job as the promoter is to be the guy out there hollering to the crowd that you've got the best wrestlers in the world, and that you have to come see our show because our wrestlers are so good. That's the job, is to do that. And Tony Khan spent most of the last 2 years not doing that and just working on this whole, let's get the product where we need it to be. But the product, for the most part, is where it needs to be. I mean, yeah, there's things they can improve. I'm not saying that. There's always room for improvement. But in terms of the product, in terms of the fan base, it's where it needs to be. Now it needs to grow. Now the things need to grow. And the way you grow is by promoting, right? By being that. Now, let's keep in mind, everything that you're bringing up here is Tony Khan responding to Vince McMahon doing something, right? Vince McMahon says the AEW is not our competition. We don't even think about him that way. But then says, oh, by the way, we're also going to schedule a 30-minute overrun to directly compete with them.
Hold up, they didn't say that.
They didn't specifically say to directly compete with them, but that's what it is.
But I mean, we know what's happening. Yeah,
we know it's happening, right?
Or it could be the fact that it's 2 weeks before, or just before Saudi Arabia.
No, because here's the deal: it's
1 week.
Really,
first of all,
1 week.
That's why I said just before I switched.
But here's the big thing about it, because it's not like anything that happened in that overrun was like really necessary for building the plot to Saudi Arabia, right?
I don't know. I didn't watch. I was watching AEW.
Yeah, I was too. But that's the deal. Here's the deal: remember, part of the thing with and here in America, this is going to be apparent. Part of the thing with SmackDown this week is wasn't on Fox normal; it was on Fox Sports 1, right? FS1, which is in less households than Fox, right? In fact, the fast nationals for both AEW and SmackDown came in, and it was a lot closer than it normally would have been. Like normally, SmackDown would have absolutely smoked AEW in terms. I mean, SmackDown gets about 2 million viewers every week.
That's why, because it was at like 700, right?
But it was 728,000, something like that.
Wow,
right?
That's why. Okay.
And AEW was 600,000, somewhere around there. I could look up the actual numbers if I really got into
That's
it.
fine. But yeah, it was close. It was like,
but it was
I thought
close.
It was like 5 something. But yeah, it was close. It was like
but that's the deal. Is this was specifically designed? We're on a network that gets less ratings overall, just in general. We know we're already going to get less ratings, but let's try to take as many of those viewers away from our not competition AEW as we can by doing that, because just the 30-minute overrun is one thing, but then saying, oh, it's also going to be commercial free. These are all Vince McMahon being a motor. Now he's doing in a way when you're number one, you don't acknowledge the number two, right? Or you play them down. I get that, right? Vince McMahon's doing what he needs to do there. But when you're number two, you're punching up. And you have to. Now, again, this is Tony Khan reacting to that. Oh, you scheduled a 30-minute overrun? Okay, I'll react, and I'll schedule a 1-hour YouTube channel, 1-hour YouTube show beforehand. Oh, you're going to announce it's going to be commercial-free? Guess what? I can do commercial-free in that first half hour. Yeah, I can do it.
I can also do it for longer than you.
And the simple fact, but remember what he said. He said, because the full quote was, I've got more money, I can do it for longer than you. But it doesn't make any sense because that's how we make money, right? And he knows that Vince McMahon can't do it for forever because that's how he makes money. Television is the way WWE makes money. I mean, yeah, it's television and Saudi Arabia, but but it's the reason. It's the reason. Well, shirt sales, merch sales, are a chunk of it, but they actually don't make a ton of money from actual attendance anymore. Wrestling in the last 40 years has switched. 50 years ago, it was all about attendance at the shows. You had the house shows that you built up attendance, right? And then it was all for building up to the big show, right? And then television came along. And then your TV shows were still about building up to the big show.
Well,
there we go. I was waiting for it. But then television took over. And the simple fact is WWE doesn't make their money on the pay-per-views anymore. Like, yeah, they got their licensing deal with Peacock. They make money off that. I'm not saying they do. But in the grand scheme of things, what they make their money off of is their TV show. So they're not going to go commercial free all the time. When was the last time WWE went commercial free?
Friday.
Before that.
That's right. I was right. Woo! Yeah!
When was the last time before that?
I don't know.
I
feel like they never have.
We don't know the answer. It's been a long time.
Maybe tribute to the troops or something.
These are all things that add up to why we know that this was about AEW, not about promoting Saudi Arabia. Because if it was about promoting Saudi Arabia, we'd be able to say, oh, yeah, last time they went to Saudi Arabia, they went commercial free. Or last time they went to Saudi Arabia, they had a special 30-minute overrun, right? But they don't do that. They don't do that on regular for their pay-per-views. They don't do that on the regular for the Saudi Arabia shows. They don't do that on regular for any of the other things. They did it here. 2018? Okay. So, yeah. So 3 years ago was the last time they did that.
Snap. Okay.
And that's exactly my point. They did it specifically because they knew it would compete with AEW. So AEW is just counterpunching, right? They're just punching back.
I'm afraid there's an ego to Tony Khan right now. And I understand he's a hardcore fan. And look, if I was starting a promotion and I was, side by side with my freaking boyhood dream promotion that I dreamed of maybe writing for, wrestling for, or whatever, I would be stoked. I would be excited. And I get it. When you get to this certain level as a fan, since he is a hardcore wrestling fan, I get it. I'm not necessarily blaming him as a fan point of view, but because you have that promoter on as well, don't kind of be a dick in that way, or at least you don't do it. Because it's not Vince McMahon that is doing that. It's a bunch of the wrestlers that are saying shit. Vince McMahon, of course, is behind everything, but you don't see Vince McMahon going on Twitter and da. You know what I mean? It's not a Vince. Vince isn't. If Vince was doing it, I would be saying the exact same thing.
You think Roman Reigns didn't say the things because he was told to say them?
Well,
right.
I mean, either way, it's coming from Roman Reigns at the end of the day.
So by your logic,
okay, but I mean, it's coming from Vince, but Roman is spreading it out.
Okay, so my point is, by your logic, if this had been John Moxley saying exactly the same thing that Tony Khan said, you wouldn't have a problem with it.
I wouldn't care if it was from John. I wouldn't care if it was anyone from WWE that came over to AEW.
Okay, so if it was Darby Allen saying it,
no. Anyone from WWE came over to AEW. But even with Darby, I wouldn't mind because
Darby Allen. And I'm calling bullshit. I'm saying that based on the way that you pitched this whole thing, you were talking about, oh, this is AEW getting too big for their britches. This is all this stuff. They're gonna say all this stuff, and that's the deal. Is you would have been just as angry by that logic if anyone else from AEW had said it. But here's the deal: is it doesn't matter who's saying it, because this is all about promoting the product. And he is the promoter. He's not the on-screen thing. He's doing these things in reality, and he's saying these things. He's answering these questions. So to go back to the Roman Reigns, here's the exact quotes. He was interviewing by Complex Magazine, Mike DeStefano. To me, I don't really see competition with AEW because I think their fan base legitimately is a hardcore fan base. So there's like a ceiling and a built-in ground to that viewership. WWE is trying to connect with everyone. We're trying to connect with the mainstream. We're trying to pull in the casual fan. We're trying to engage with the new viewer while also servicing our hardcore fan base and give them compelling stories to fulfill them as well. I don't know if I've said it before, but I've said it before. When the audience is probably the biggest character in your show, that's strange to me. You hear it all the time, the reviews and the comparisons. I think because they're the new kids on the block, they're the cool kids in town. I guess because of how premature and how novel it still is, I think they're still being babied by these hardcore wrestling fans, which is fine. That's great. I don't think anyone's going to ever, especially from a performance standpoint, say, oh, there's more opportunities out there. That sucks. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing for professional wrestling. It's just a weird argument because there's so much bias and there's so much, I'm on this side, I'm not going to open my mind to the other side. And it goes both ways. He then, this quote doesn't continue on. He then, here we go. As far as competition, not to me. There might be some other people on our roster who maybe think they need to dig deep to get better as a performer and what they do out there as an art form. But there's nobody in the whole world and any other promotion in WWE. I'm better at this art form than everybody else, and I stand on that. That's the totality of it. I'm not just talking about it. Oh, his spots are so good and his counters really well. That stuff doesn't mean anything to me. When you tally it up, nobody touches me in the business. I'm trying to find. At one point, he even said, and it doesn't even have the rest of the quote. I'll have to find the rest of it. He said that that if they come to our club, we'll kick them out. To which Junior Dos Santos replied, "Tell me where this club is that you're going to kick me out of. I'll show up." So in the end, I gotta find that.
I thought it was a table.
I'll find the.
Well, I mean, look, I do a few of Roman's words there that were used were a bit like, okay, bro, stop being a bit cocky. But in some retrospect, he is right, I guess, that we do cater kind of to everyone. Because keep in mind, right? They're not wrestling. They're sports entertainment. And they're going to go along with that whole shindig.
Looking for.
And I'm being ignored.
Because this is the part of it that gets... I don't think anyone really believes that someone 200 pounds soaking wet with no explosive bone in their body could ever really do anything to me. I'm 6'3", 265 pounds, a legitimate athlete who can throw some weight around and has been on the gridiron at the highest level. D1, all ACC. I'd probably maintained in the NFL if my health issues didn't happen when I was 22 years old. So when it comes down to it, I'll throw them and pretty much the rest of that roster out the club, no problem. They're just little brothers, you know? So again,
that's dirty. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But again, what I'm saying is most of this, the things that Tony Khan said about Roman, right, are just him punching back. This was him.
Right. And I mean, they're kind of true, but yeah, and they're very true too.
In the end, what we go back to WCW, what won them the war for that 80?
No. But I mean, the whole comment, it took the fans. You were there for 5 years, and it took the fans to only really get to you within the last 2. You know what I mean? That comment, I was like, it's a valid point.
Yeah, Tony Khan said it took you 5 years for the fans to get behind you. I've only been here for 2.
That's it. Yeah.
But that's my point. In the end, all of this is about punching back and forth. But I bring back to WCW. People like to say, "Oh, we don't want EWP WCW 2.0." We kind of do. When you take away the last 3 years of WCW, 98, 99, 2000, right? Or actually 2001 was when they ended. So let's say
I would more say 99 to 2000.
99, 2000, 2001. Let's say it that
I feel like 98 wasn't all that bad.
Yeah, you take away those last 3 years, the downward spiral of it, and you look at the actual years that WCW led and even when WWE got back, or WWF at the time got back in control. Mm-hmm. Why was WCW competition? Because they acknowledged WWE, because they fought against WWE actively, because they were cocky and brash. Right? WCW would not have won 83 weeks if Eric Bischoff was not a cocky little prick. Right? And I'm going to say this about Eric Bischoff. I'm going to say it about Jeff Jarrett when he ran Jarrett, the wrestling
Impact
company, when he took over at TNA, when they started TNA. But before that, Jarrett and his father had a wrestling company. Right? I'm going to say it about Vince McMahon. I'm going to say it about Tony Khan. You do not get to that point in the business without being a cocky little fucker. You just don't. right?
Okay.
It's and that's almost any business, right? There's a statistic, and I don't know the exact percentage, but it said like if you did a personality test on all of the CEOs in America, like 90% of them would show up as sociopathic
But
on personality tests, right? Because to get to that level in business, you have to have a little bit of this in you, period.
But I guess I also feel like it's the fact that Tony Khan, you're not winning the ratings or anything like that, but you're not losing either. Your ratings are already kind of going up. I think playing this petty little game doesn't necessarily help Tony Khan and just feeds into Vince's bullshit. Like, I don't want him.
So you're second place in a race. Do you take your foot off the accelerator and just coast, or do you keep your foot on the gas?
But they're not coasting either. Their ratings are getting higher each week.
This is them putting their foot on the accelerator. You have to punch up. You have to.
I don't think these comments are what gives them the better ratings, though. I mean, that's going to be hard to prove.
Getting the better ratings, it's about establishing yourself as competition, right? Okay. If you don't acknowledge that they're the number ones, but you're on their heel, right? It shows weakness. It makes you look like you're afraid to fight them. I feel like DA Fabe has something he wants to say.
Yeah,
because he's sitting over there making faces. So I'm gonna put him big screen and let him say some
big
stuff.
Screen.
All right, so let's just
big screen Fabe.
I'm actually on both sides of this fence, and so the pickets are kind of hurting my ass the longer we stay on this. That said, I'm going to present the pro Smarks, and then I'm going to present the pro JLB arguments. The pro Smarks argument is, fuck yeah, like go after it. However, when you're going after it, sometimes you got to get a little bit sassy. Sometimes as a former athlete, as a successful businessman in real life, I'm not an attorney. In case people didn't know, I'm also not a realtor. So, but
after all these legal calls, what have you been doing with my information?
Well,
God damn it!
And I'm really shitty at Canadian law, so
I should have known.
Yeah, that call you got from Trudeau for not wearing a mask. That's my fault. Anyway, so
F yeah, you said fuck yeah. I agree with Smarks, and then you were going to say something else.
Here's the deal. I never once stepped onto the field of battle. I stepped on the field of battle nervous a couple times because I knew I had a worthy adversary. But once I was good, when I was new, I stepped on the field of battle going, I just need to get better every single day. But once I was good, I never once stepped on the field of battle thinking I didn't have what it took. Whatever the battle was, whether it was in business, whether it was in wrestling, whether it was in football, the numerous things I've done, I never once didn't step out there thinking I could beat whoever it was. And I lost. And early in my athletic careers, I lost a lot. But I knew that that I had every chance of winning. So by all means, I don't think Tony Khan should ever approach anything with the mentality of I'm just a little guy. Don't throw lumps at me. Yeah, by all means, step up. However, on the pro JLB side, I'm gonna say something that was said numerous times by coaches to me, and that's act like you fucking been there before, man. The Twitter shit doesn't fucking do you any good, and maybe the scampering back and forth in the Twitterverse is something solid, but I think it's fucking horseshit. It shows weakness. I do think. I think every time I had a dude jackjaw with me, I waited till the whistle blew or the ball was snapped or whatever it was, and that's when it changed. That's when I made sure that if he wanted to jackjaw, I was going to put him on his ass. On the wrestling mat, I'd be more than happy to chit chat and be friends with the guy prior to the match, and then at the match I would go. I had a couple guys tell me they were going to kick my ass and beat me. I didn't hang out with them the rest of the day until maybe I met them in the finals, maybe I met them in the semis, maybe they didn't make it to the finals. And then I beat them. All but 2 people my senior year in high school in wrestling. In college, a lot more people beat me, but they didn't jackjaw. They didn't have to. You know why? They were that fucking good. And so on the JLB side of things, yeah, you're right. Don't fucking jackjaw. You're wasting your time. You know, if that's the way you want to play, Vince, if you're gonna have Roman come out and act like a big dog, then he acts like a jackwagon, and he couldn't keep one of his closest friends to stay in the company.
Straight up.
And so, you know, hell, his own cousin is with another company. His uncle owns Jay Inouye.
Huh?
Is that right? Jay Inouye? Justin Inouye?
Which one? Jacob?
For Jacob. That's what it is.
Jacob.
Yeah,
Jacob Fatu.
Oh, snap.
Jacob Fatu.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you can do all the jaw jacking you want. You can say all the things you want. I've never been impressed with a wide receiver that has to do a dance, because at the end of the day, what happens when you fucking lose at the end of that game and you were too busy jaw jacking to pay attention to what's next in line? Do I like the idea of responding to the extended time? Absolutely. Respond to that extended time. Shit. Move dark to open a dark or an interview show or something for every single week at the same time as SmackDown, just to say, you know what? People are more interested in hearing our people talk than watching your product at the end. That's fine. If that's what they want to do, do it. But the jaw jacking just doesn't do anything for anybody. It seriously just makes the fans go, well, this is fucking stupid. Like show it. Show up. And for anybody to say, and this is to Roman, for anybody to say they're all a bunch of little guys, dude, you played football. Like, you were a defensive lineman. You came across the line, and some tiny little fucking running back cracked your shit in the backfield, cut blocked you, and knocked your ass to the ground. And I know it because it happens to every defensive lineman that comes through scot-free at some point. Some tiny little running back just cracks your shit. Maybe you don't go down, but you sure as hell don't get to the quarterback when that happens. So jacking your jaw doesn't do anything for you, you know, and it doesn't gain you anything. It doesn't make you better because you say you're better. Yeah. You have to. The mentality should definitely be there for both of them. I think both of them need to have that mentality. I produce a better product. Mm-hmm. The third piece to this goes out to Vince or to whomever it was. Maybe it was Joe. I don't know. I'm sorry, not Joe. Roman. But at the end of the day, there's no fucking such thing as a casual wrestling fan. You're either in it and you talk about it with your friends and stuff, and people roll their eyes and look at you. Ain't nobody going to work and talking about wrestling. And there's a closeted wrestling fan who's like, oh, that's stupid that you would watch that. No. As soon as somebody knows, like, you don't talk about it with every single person because it's a male soap opera. That's exactly what it is. So you don't talk about it with every single person. I don't know who that quote was from, but there's no such thing as a casual fan. There's new fans. There's fans who roll across it and go, that was sweet. I want to watch that. But there's no casual fans. The closest thing you're going to get to a casual fan is the former Stone Cold fan who goes, let's see what's on wrestling now.
Or let me watch WrestleMania because I watched it back in the day. Or Royal Rumble because I remember that back in the day.
That's as close as you're going to get to a casual fan. And they just have to scroll across it. And you should be jacked about either product getting seen by that person. Because at the end of the day, it's one more opportunity.
So
one more shot to gain a viewer.
To kind of support that point. Remember, I was a hardcore wrestling fan up through 2001, right?
When it was still
WCW.
cool. When you could talk about it in public and people weren't going to jack on
But then when WWE bought WCW and the product that I liked disappeared, I tried to watch WWF, WWE, and couldn't get into it. And I became a lapsed fan. What got me back into it was not WWE. I turned it on a couple times, didn't care for it, shut it off. Well, it was Impact, and more specifically Ring of Honor. I started to see some Ring of Honor stuff, and I was like, wow, look at this stuff. I saw Tyler Black wrestling in Ring of Honor, and I was like, this guy's cool. I saw CM Punk in Ring of Honor. I was like, wow, this is cool. And I started to pay some attention to Ring of Honor. Not really. I would have been what they at the time would have called a casual wrestling fan, where if I happened to see it on TV, I'd watch it. But it was Ring of Honor and all that stuff. It wasn't until I got back into Ring of Honor that I then gave WWE another shot and then got back into full-on wrestling, right? But so to your point, right, a rising tide lifts all ships, right? AEW does better, WWE viewership will go up as long as WWE does better too, right? I just want to also counterpoint though a couple things you said for this reason. Number one, almost all the jaw-jacking Tony Khan's done was either in response to a question from a reporter, or directly responding to someone on Twitter. But in the end, if you think Eric Bischoff wouldn't have done the exact same thing in 1995, 1994 WCW if Twitter had been around, you're crazy. I mean, he totally would have. He was the guy who said, "Hey, let's start giving away WWF finishes."
I didn't say that it was that Bischoff wouldn't have. What I said is it's stupid when they do. It detracts from the time you're focused on actually putting out a better product. So for those who do or don't know, I worked in one of the most competitive sales industries for most of my life in the automotive sales industry. And in that automotive sales industry, I can tell you right now, it's a waste of my fucking time to stand there and be like, well, that dealership, it's worthless. Here's the deal. People shit all over lots of industries. Attorneys, right now, doctors for some reason get shit on. Auto salespeople, cell phone people, customer service representatives who are telemarketing. Shit, you called me, prick. Like how am I the bad guy? Every industry has number one, has shitty people in it. Number two, does shitty things that occur in it. Has somebody out there that doesn't like them. And that's neither here nor there. The important piece is, why are you wasting your time with a second-rate product? And because mentally you should feel as though any product that comes up against yours is second at best. AEW should feel like at best Impact is the second-rate product, or WWE is the second-rate product, or New Japan Pro is the second-rate product. And hey, we'll work with the second-rate team. I mean, New England Patriots still traded players in their heyday with the number 2 teams. Like they, hey, whoa, I could handle that draft pick. So to even remotely pretend like I guess I just don't know what jaw-jacking. I don't see the value in it.
And my counterpoint to this is you're bringing experience in car lots and in business and in sales and all that stuff. But on the football field. But one section of that you don't have experience that I do is entertainment, right? And that's what it comes down to. This is the entertainment business. I don't
people tune in for this, but
I don't know if we'd call this entertainment. But no,
I mean,
here's
I
the deal.
speak for yourself. I'm pretty freaking entertaining. So
Because
this is
here's the deal.
I did go well when you said Big Show
I
earlier,
point this out because I was a theater major in college. I was a professional actor at one point, and not like anything major, huge, but I was literally paid for acting. I worked in radio for 10 years. Might have been. But in the end, there's a certain point with entertainment, and this is why I'm 100% on board with him doing it. He is a carnival barker. That's his job. That's the whole job of a promoter, is to go out there and not just put on. If his job was just to book the shows and everything, he'd be called a booker, but he's called the promoter. His job is to promote. And that means going on shows and talking about how his product is better than the other products. That's his, and jaw jacking is part of it. And when he gets asked a question on Twitter, someone says, is this just the second coming of Ted Turner? His response is, I never met Ted Turner in person, but if Ted Turner knew 1% of what I know about professional wrestling, WCW would probably still be around. Basically saying Ted Turner's problem was he wanted to own a wrestling company, but he didn't know how to own a wrestling company. Now, in the end, is that true? I would argue not. I would argue that the problems with WCW started when Ted Turner no longer was in charge, but it's a different argument, different thing altogether. In the end, his job is to promote, and you don't promote by being passive, and you don't promote by not talking about your product. You promote by going on media and saying, our product is the best. Our product is going to beat the other product. You don't need, you got to think of him more as the sham wow guy, right? That's his job, is to promote. And your job as the sham wow guy is to pull out the other product, the paper towel, and say, look, this paper towel doesn't pick up shit, but look at how much shit sham wow picks up, right? That's what he's doing. And here's the deal. The fact that we're talking about this right now shows he's doing his job right. Because when you're a promoter and you don't get people talking about your product.
But he's already getting people to talk about his product without this.
Picking up shit with a chamois, man. That's disgusting. Just use paper towel and throw that shit away.
I do like that analogy, though. I do like that analogy. But I mean, people are still talking about
someone who's obviously never really used a ShamWow. Those things were fucking fantastic. They're not chamois. There's different. They just called ShamWow. Anyways, in the end, I'll go up to this because we're all talking and yelling at the same time here.
Yes, we are.
But that's why I bring it up. Is his job. We'll do some beard love. See, I got no hard feelings. Beard love. In the end.
No.
Inadvertent beer love, accidental beard love. Beard love.
Beard love. Damn it! I went in and you just walked away. God damn it!
Out of nowhere, one of us just showed up on his screen and started rubbing our face on his face.
Just walked in, just like, hold on. And then we show up in his house.
Montreal's a long ways away, though. So
yeah, it would take a while, right? You got about 8 hours for me to go catch a flight, check through TSA, fly, find an Uber. There's no Uber.
Hello, 911. I have an intruder. Are you kidding? Is that a real question?
I'd
of course there's an Uber in Canada.
No, I'm asking it because literally I saw it was a TikTok the other day that talked about maybe it's provincial basis, but there's at least one place that Uber is illegal in Canada because it's not technically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Well, I mean, Quebec had a thing with that where the taxi drivers were upset. That was a thing, but no, now there's Ubers all over the place.
Yeah, maybe it was an outdated TikTok. Anyway, my point is that ShamWow thing is the perfect, or Billy Mays, to use that as an example. Their job is to hawk the product and make claims that their product is better than the other product, and whether they are or not. I mean, is OxyClean better than the stain boosters that you can buy from Walmart? Maybe
Same
not.
Shit.
Who knows, right? Maybe it's exactly the same. I don't know. I make no claims that way, but in the end, their job is to. Are you hallucinating now over there?
No,
I think there's a fly. Call your local psychiatrist, like live. We gotta send them.
There's a couple of the mosquitoes in the house have survived, and I need to leave the house in the hard freeze. And let them
We
die.
gotta make a TikTok, and we call it Stevie Wonder in it. No.
Wow, I don't know that we can do that.
I mean, I'm half blind. I Stevie Wonder it all the fucking time. So at the end of the day, I'm talking from experience.
Do it again so we can see what you're doing.
So anyways, I my point and the reason I 100% don't follow this crime and don't support it as a crime is his job is as a promoter is to put his product into Jaw-Jack. That's literally his job. If he was just the booker, he'd just be called the booker, but he's the promoter. Right now, here's what it comes down to. Vince McMahon stopped being a promoter. His job was to be the promoter and to do this for the longest time. And now his job is CEO of a company and all of this stuff. And he thinks he's above it. And that's why he doesn't do it anymore. But to Fabe's point about the casual fans or whatever, here's the deal. If WWE is trying to get the new fans, we'll use new fans instead of casual because I think that's the more apt term. If WWE is trying to get the new fans, they're doing a shitty job of it because
there's the big point is they're 18 to
59 is
54.
shitty. 18 to 49 is the main one, and it's shitty. Their average age of viewers, I think I haven't seen it recently, but one time their average age of viewer was like 47 or something like that.
You know, they watched the New World Order. Yeah. They watched The Rock and Stone Cold.
The average age is me, a little older than me, who watched the 90s Attitude Era and said, yeah.
So those are the routine fans, not the routine fans, but the
hardcore fans.
Hardcore fans, yeah.
But that's my point is AEW is doing the job of bringing in the new fans. They're winning the demo almost every night. I haven't seen the official ratings don't come out until tomorrow for Friday night, so I haven't seen what those are. But on Wednesday Night Dynamite for like 5 straight weeks, AEW won the demo for the entire night for cable television show for 18 to 49, and was even bigger on the 18 to 36 segment of the demo.
The big piece that and we've talked about this before, and this is not really a crime. The segment that's being missed is the 12 to 18 category. That 12 to 18 men or boys category is a significant piece to what built the Monday Night Wars. Because there's not a mass-produced televised show when those kids control the television. There's not something right after school, and there's not something Saturday mornings. And that's when those kids control the television. And they're not really appealing. Neither of them are significantly appealing on the streaming market, on the YouTube market. There is some appeal
they got
that AEW is doing a good job.
Views.
Yeah,
there's some appeal that AEW is doing. I'm not done, but they aren't segmenting, targeting, because there's really 2 segments there. There's the 12 to 15 market, or the 10 to 15 market, and there's the 15 to 18 market, and those are 10 to 14 market and 15 to 18 market, and that is 2 different segments there. The 15 to 18 market has a taste for a little bit more of the violence, and the 12 to 15 or the 10 to 14 market has a taste for the really old school WWE.
Yeah, I'm gonna point out right now the 1 hour pre-show, the buy-in show on AEW now is at 859,000 views.
What I'm saying is is it catering to a future generation market? And that you can't tell on YouTube, unfortunately. You can't really just You can't just look at it and be like, that's a segment.
Well, problem
that's where you're going to pick up that clientele. I would attest that New Day, up, down, down.
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods actually does the best job in the industry of targeting that market. And he's not bringing it to wrestling. He's bringing it to video games.
Here's kind of the counterpoint to that, though. Part of the problem with WWE's product over the last 5 years has been their commitment to trying to be PG to try to get to that market. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right way to get to that market, but that's been their attempt to get to that market.
Well, and you don't want the PG market for the 15 to 18.
You don't want
it's
the PG.
It's the 10 to 14 that you're trying to get with the PG.
Because,
15 to 18, you want a little bit of blood.
Even the 15 to 18, because here's the problem with that still. The 15 to 18 still live at home and have parents deciding, or at least playing into what they watch.
Yeah, it's just going to intrigue them more.
Well, it might intrigue them more, but it also, and this is what WWE is afraid of, it also might make the parent just say, no, I'm not allowing you to watch that. And so that's what they've been trying over the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, to appeal to that. But here's what we've said before is part of the thing. The reason WWF was shitty enough that WCW could come along with their product and win for 83 weeks was because WWF at the time was trying to be PG. They were trying to be this super family friendly. They had the cartoon show on Saturday mornings and all this stuff. But the problem is it was putting off the older viewers. And by older, I mean the 18-year-olds, right? Yeah. It was getting the 12-year-olds into it, but the 18-year-olds weren't.
You don't pick up the 18-year-olds at Saturday morning. I really think, and I don't know if Saturday morning cartoons still exist. My kid didn't watch them.
They don't. No. But the thing is, I was going to point out the other side of the coin, the 12 to 18 right now. This is where all the companies are struggling. They've got different viewership patterns than we've ever had before. They don't get up on Saturday mornings to watch TV. Right. Yeah. So a Saturday morning show isn't going to directly get them. They don't get up. They don't tip, 18-year-olds, even 18-year-olds out on their own often don't have TVs. They have iPads and maybe they have a TV, but it's a smart TV hooked up to a streaming service. Right. So Netflix or Hulu or whatever. They don't have Fox. They don't put rabbit ears on their TV. They don't care about that. Right. Their thing, and that's where AEW is at least leading a little bit by doing the YouTube channel, right? Yeah. Now, in reality, what I think AEW would benefit from is live streaming rather than pre-recorded shows. Live stream a house show
like this show,
but live, instead of pre-recording Dark and Dark Elevation on Saturdays that they talk about doing, or Sundays, or pre-recording it after Dynamite or after Rampage or whatever, stream it live. Just put it on YouTube live. Just a live.
I don't know why they haven't done that. I guess they were more focused on the whole, because Tony Khan was talking about getting a potential network soon, right? For all his stuff. So I think he was more focused on making that nice and pretty. Let's get a bunch of stuff that's done nice and pretty for our library. And then maybe they'll go more towards the live. Because, there's no reason why they can't do that.
For his what? You said getting all the... For his what? Said getting all the content for his what?
For his network. Because they're going to do like a WWE network kind of thing.
Did you say library?
I said library. Yeah, library. Am I saying it wrong?
I'm 90% certain you said library.
I said library? Well, for his library.
Yes, for his library.
Library.
That's what I was making fun of. No, I understand, and I agree with that. That's what they're doing. But here's the deal. A live stream or a pre-recorded show fills the library exactly the same thing, right? The only difference is the pre-recorded show.
Maybe there's tweaks
the pre-recorded
show that we don't know.
Yeah, well, the pre-recorded show allows them to well, like them pulling out the acclaimed spot after it got a lot of heat, stuff like that allows them. But you can still do that with a live stream after the fact. Once it goes down, you go, oh crap, and you take it out and upload it without that. But in the end, I agree. I hope they do an announcement soon for a streaming service. If it's soon, I'm thinking it's HBO Max because that's Warner Media. And so that would be the best place for
That'd
it.
be pretty big, yeah.
Sorry, I was famished, so I didn't hear most of.
Would that be technically bigger than Peacock?
Yes and no. Peacock is backed by a majority television
NBC, right?
networks. Yeah, NBC. So it's got a lot of television shows on it, and it does have movies, but it's not as many of them. HBO Max is actually more focused now on movies. While there are TV shows on it, it's really known for the most part for movies, right? So you go to HBO Max and you can watch all of the Warner movies, all of the DC Comics movies right now,
right?
All of that stuff all in one place. Where, and yes, there are TV shows, but it's kind of like HBO Max is focused more on movie productions and Peacock is focused more on TV productions for the most part.
Okay, so it just depends what
I would say, in my experience, that HBO Max has the better content overall right now.
Snap.
And
because I mean, to be frank with you, I feel like a lot of stuff you can still technically get elsewhere, like between Disney Plus and stuff. There's certain shows that are kind of either on Disney or Prime or Apple. Well, no, maybe not Apple. Apple doesn't have.
Here's the I'm willing to bet in the next couple years, Disney Plus, HBO Max are the 1 and 2 in terms of streaming content, not Netflix, right? Netflix is always going to be up there, but I mean, they're predicting. I saw an analyst predicting that Disney Plus will be the number 1 within the next 2 years over Netflix. I think HBO Max is going to be about there. HBO Max has a lot better of an interface than Peacock does. So right there, the Peacock
and a pause
interface.
button.
The Peacock did pick up the pause button at this last pay-per-view. So it's still shitty because their fast forward is shitty. There's no preview
to show you what's going on.
Fast forwarding, so I just have to kind of guess. Did I fast forward enough? There's not just like a jump 30 seconds forward. But HBO Max's interface, it's a lot easier to discover content on HBO Max.
I killed it.
Yeah. So, and then with DC Comics, all of the DC stuff being on there. But like I said, for the most part, well, yes, there is both TV and movies on HBO Max. It's really focused more on movies as a whole. And then Peacock is focused more on TVs, even though there are movies on there as well.
Fair.
So, anyways,
I think Hulu in the long run will be in trouble as a non-content producer.
I think Hulu's already in trouble. And frankly, I recently canceled my Hulu subscription because the tough thing with Hulu is you pay money and then you still have to watch ads unless you pay even more money.
So now you can get rid of Sling TV and get a better
no, because it didn't save me enough money.
Oh, okay.
It's still cheap. Hulu is only like $7 a month, $8 a month.
Oh, okay.
So it's super cheap.
Facts are, I wouldn't be spending $10 a month for Peacock if it wasn't for WWE. So
yeah,
it was a smart move for Peacock.
It was, and here's the so I would anticipate. I mean, Netflix is always going to be up there, but I'd anticipate that Disney Plus number 1, maybe Netflix number 2, and Hulu and HBO Max number 3. Peacock, depending on if it like manages to pick up some other network content, maybe number 4. I don't know. It like there's Paramount Network, which is
Paramount Plus.
Yeah, Paramount Plus, which I don't have, and it sucks because I'm a Star Trek nerd, and it's only on there, so I have to find other ways.
Yeah, I see that one partnering with the CBS streaming.
Yeah, that's what I can see that one. Yeah, being the one that kind of goes okay.
Or AMC will have their streaming.
Well, they kind of already partnered, no? Paramount and CBS. Because I think now Big Brother, their live stuff is on Paramount.
Well, Paramount is the CBS owner. Yeah, I should have.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh, is it?
So,
yeah.
Okay. But here's the deal.
Yes. Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Early Hulu was also partnered with CBS, and that's kind of where it got its. And then CBS went off on its own. So I could see Paramount kind of picking the bones of Hulu and trying to get that, but. Anyways, we're not here to talk about streaming services. We just got onto it. Yeah, we got onto it because we were talking about AEW possibly landing on place, and I would love to see it on HBO Max. I'd have it running on my iPad right now if I could. But instead, I'll just have to watch season 4 of Harley Quinn because, well, the first 2 episodes just dropped, and that show's fucking awesome. Anyways, we will go ahead and move on to our second crime. I throw it out there if DA Fabe wants to do number 2 or if he wants me to go.
I'll let you go. Okay.
So for me, I tweeted out about this earlier this week that I was excited. I was stoked for this week's WBU because I was going to try to keep it positive and not shit on WWE. And I'm going to keep my word for my crime there. But it's really not even a crime. I'm using my time to do a huge commendation. This is a huge crime replacing commendation for the murder grandpa himself, Minora Suzuki, because I found out something about him this week, or more specifically about the situation right now. He didn't come to America to wrestle. He's here on fucking vacation.
Oh, wow.
He's in America on vacation, and yet every fucking wrestling company in America has contacted him. Not every, but most of them have contacted him and said, hey, can you come show up to our thing? Just the fact that he's like, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, no problem. Is just the
solidifies his legacy. That's for sure.
Solidifies it. And here, even more than just being here.
Well, it's not a job for him either. You know what I mean? He loves what he does, obviously. So he's like, yeah, you know what?
But my point, he's like the thing came out. He was like in Boston on his vacation at a restaurant eating like crab legs or whatever, and he got a call from his agent saying, hey, you know, I know you're on vacation, but Tony Khan wants to know if you want to come down to Miami and wrestle Bryan Danielson for the buy-in show on AEW. He's like, yeah, I'm there, right? I mean, in the last month and a half, almost 2 months, he has wrestled Jon Moxley, Jonathan Gresham, Joey Janela, Bryan Danielson. He's done 12 total matches. And that's not even including his appearances that we know are going to be coming up in the next couple weeks on Impact Wrestling that he's filming, right? He's wrestled Homicide. He's wrestled for AEW, GCW, New Japan Strong, WrestleMax, PWX, Glory Pro, Little Ring of the Horrors, right? West Coast Pro. You know, it's just like he's here on vacation. He's like, fuck it, I'll wrestle a bunch of people. I'll wrestle Daniel Garcia for West Coast Pro Wrestling, even though Daniel Garcia now is an AEW signed wrestler. It's like, I'll wrestle you wherever, right? It looks like since Bryan Danielson, he did and New Japan Strong against Chris Dickinson. Just the fact that he's like, on vacation and is like, fine, I'll wrestle a bunch of shows. That's cool, right?
Oh, I'm sure he's getting paid a pretty coin too.
Oh, I'm sure he's making money. I'm not, but just from a standpoint, I mean,
cool
you saw that fucking brutal match between him and Danielson on Friday, right?
Right.
I mean, you could still see handprints on Bryan Danielson's chest on Saturday night,
right,
when he wrestled. Just fucking, he just beats his body up and for fun, right? So I'm giving a huge commendation for him for being like, I'm on vacation, but I have a chance to wrestle Jon Moxley, Jonathan Gresham, Joey Janela, Bryan Danielson. You know, I'm gonna fucking do it, right? If I ever met Minora Suzuki at a conference and I could pay him $50 to give me a chop, I would. I'd make sure I had my life insurance all set up beforehand.
Because he might stop your heart.
Because he might, yeah. He might fucking slap me so hard my chest caves in. But fuck. So that's my commendation there. My huge commendation, because I'm just excited that he comes over here and decides to do everything he can.
I didn't get it.
Sure didn't.
I've gotten several, but I didn't get that one. I've killed like 4. There he is. Got his ass. No.
Or maybe they don't exist at all, and these are all just hallucinations from you. Anyway, so that's my commendation, my crime there. I just think from a standpoint of just like, I'm also going to put a crime out on Vincent K. Faye for murder of
Oh, my heart. I don't need Suzuki to give me a chop. I think I'm fucking dying here. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But that's all I had. There's just fucking.
That's fair. That's a fair accommodation.
I just love the fact that this guy is like, I'm on vacation, but I have a chance to wrestle these people, so I'm gonna fucking do it. You know, if someone calls me, if my boss calls me while I'm on vacation and says, "Hey, can you log into the portal and do something?" I'm like, I'm on fun vacation, man. No,
that's it. I mean, kudos to him for sure. That's a true avid fan of, he loves what he does. And I mean, who would say that, you know, and maybe Moxley would say that, because I feel like Moxley would just thrive at the opportunity to just, he's on vacation. Oh, but we want to get you to wrestle Nick Gage at the for another match in a hardcore death match. Oh, I'm in. Fuck it. Fuck vacation. You know, let's go.
Renee is not a fan when he does that, by the way.
No, I for sure. Why would she be? You know,
what's actually a really entertaining thing to do is go on Twitter anytime Jon Moxley has a death match and just go to her feed and just watch her reactions. And she'll be like, I don't like this at all. Can someone tell him to stop using a cheese grater?
Those are great.
Anyway, but that's my crime. That's all it is, right?
Fabe, you're up.
Fabe, you are up.
I had another Saudi Arabia.
You're too busy swatting flies, and you didn't think of a crime.
Yeah,
what grinded your gears this week, good sir? What made you really, really happy and so excited to talk about it that you forgot about how happy you were? And there's got to be something. We had Rampage. Did you get back on SmackDown, or was there something that you actually enjoyed there? Was NXT randomly good for you? What really made you feel like
NXT's not good now? I don't know anybody who's on there. Sad.
Even if you did, they probably changed their name to something else, to be fair.
I mean, here's
Broad Breaker.
I will say this. NXT's product, when excusing the fact that I don't recognize anyone, that basically the entire show should be named "Who the fuck is this?"
I
The
might
product
actually
itself.
watch. You just have a random guy go, "Who the fuck is this?" And
Who the
just
fuck is
every
this?
so often. That'd be great. Mandy Rose, I think, is the star of NXT now. Honestly, Mandy Rose's performance was freaking spot
and
on.
that's what I was gonna say. In the end, we can say what we want to about not knowing the people on it or this or that or whatever, but the actual product, the actual wrestling right now has been actually pretty good.
Yeah, better than WWE.
Yeah,
I mean, to be
it's
fair,
just
it's not hard.
I don't know who the fuck any of the people on there are.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony or whatever his name was won the title, and I'm like, sure. Carmelo Hayes, I think, or Car.
Yeah, not Carmelo Anthony, right? Although I do think Carmelo Hayes now has more titles than Carmelo Anthony, but that's another thing altogether.
Why you gotta be like that, man?
Truth hurts.
I like Melo. Anyway,
I don't have a problem with Melo, as long as he wins fucking.
As long as he's not betting on him.
The problem is he's not winning championships.
I don't think he's playing.
Babe,
anymore.
out with your crime. Stop trying to avoid
Right.
time. Hey, Brian.
By the way, I'm actually already working on designing a "Who the fuck is this" shirt.
I bet, yeah. Who the fuck is this?
The question is, do I use this or dis? Who the fuck is this?
DIS.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna throw out a crime of just general irritation at this juncture. That should have been a name of one of the Misfits in Action. General irritation. Hugh G. Rection.
General JLB at your service. You know I always got a purpose.
You
What's
could
your
never
crime?
be in the military when you're blind.
I know. That's why I'm not, clearly. All right, we're gonna have to.
So,
We're gonna
here
get
it
you
is.
to shoot a gun 40 feet away. Not gonna aim, sir. I'm not gonna be able to hit that bullseye. Not happening.
Not gonna work here anymore, at least. Anyway, moving forward, the crime I'm gonna give is against unemployed or uncontracted wrestlers, free agents, shall we say. I'm tired of not knowing where you're going, fuckers. Just tell us. If you have, if you're 90 days over, whatever time it is, make a fucking announcement or show the fuck up.
No. But what do you mean? Who are you referring to here?
BRAY. Wyndham Rotunda.
He's not finished his 30-day yet.
Yeah, his 30-day doesn't end.
90-day
doesn't end until October 30th or 31st, I think.
So your crime is invalid. Next.
Okay. Braun Strowman.
Who gives a fuck where he goes? I hope he goes to the Garbage Bin Wrestling Federation and stays there. By the way, yeah, that's it. I don't know. I saw a fan get an autograph.
And I like those guys.
He's actually in talks with Impact again, apparently.
I think he's been
Buddy
in talks
Matthews with 9 million teases.
Yeah, that's true. That's a valid point. Buddy Matthews, Murphy, whatever, is going into.
I'm gonna tease so that hopefully somebody will give me a contract.
Yeah. Buddy Matthews is gonna be on New Japan. Whether he signed a contract or not, we don't know. But New Japan Strong, he's gonna appear there. So it could be a one-off. It'd be multiples. We don't know.
Yeah, I want something bigger. I want bigger. I want more. Give me more.
Oh, yeah, no,
more.
I 100% want a real announcement that not only of where, but like some sort of like real contract, not just he's going to appear at this place.
I want Mr. Bebe level show up. You know, just boom, you're here.
Well, who though? Oh, you mean for Buddy Murphy? I feel like it can't be full gear now because
like Inspirations announced it for
Impact. Yeah,
Impact. Now that took too long. Like, why are you announcing it? this juncture, you should be showing up, kicking ass.
I feel like you're just being petty now, though. Like, I feel like, honestly, announcing them isn't a good move. I want to be surprised. Again, I probably would not have watched Bound for Glory or whatever the fuck the next pay-per-view is if they didn't tell me that. So now I'm actually going to. So they did do the right move, I guess, in my perspective, because I just don't watch Impact. But again, I don't want to know. I like that level surprise of entertainment that AEW did for me with Adam Cole. We know he might be going there, but nothing was for certain. We didn't know he was going to be.
We thought it was going to be Brian Danielson.
You know what I mean? So don't tell me where they're going.
Baby. So.
They shouldn't have mentioned where Buddy Murphy was going either, because, hey, maybe he could have done something, did a one-off showing at Full Gear, and then... then we'll see him at we'll see him at NJPW Strong. NJPW Strong, I guess I get why they're doing it, because I guess they don't have a lot of fan base and they're trying to just get more eyeballs on their screen.
Well, yeah,
or to subscribe to their thing.
Surprise show-ups at smaller shows like New Japan Strong or whatever don't have as big of an impact because because you have to have enough people to watch and go, holy fuck, for it to have an impact. So I get it.
Yeah.
No,
so I get that.
I also get the frustration. I'm tired of waiting. There are a lot of people that got cut by WWE over the last 2 years that it's been basically radio silence from.
I blame the internet for that, though. I blame internet. I blame the internet technology for us being so freaking impatient. Just think, I get it. You guys were before the internet. No offense, I'm not calling you old. So was I technically, but I remember having no problem doing 56K, waiting for that modem to go. Took about 10, 15 minutes for it to be all good and so on. Now I can't wait 2 seconds for a page to load. I lose my shit. So you know what? I don't want to know, because I experienced that moment in AEW where I saw the Adam Cole and the Diane Branion shocker, and even Sting, when Sting came out, shocker. That feeling I want to get all the time. That's the feeling that I miss for wrestling. So no, don't tell me where you're going. I know I'm an impatient fuck, but I like the feeling.
You really want the shocker?
Not from you.
I
want the real deal.
No,
I
agree. No, I agree. I would love, but here's the Ascension. Basically, see nothing of them.
Right,
but we basically see nothing of them. It would be nice to at least just know. I mean, I don't think they were the best team in the world. I get it, but they were good enough to go to an Impact or a Ring of Honor and kind of bolster a division. It's back. Back.
What are all these bats flying?
For the first time in this podcast history, I'm not the one that's oddly looking weird, looking off.
But no, I agree. I would love to see. I mean, the inspiration. I would have loved to see him in AEW. I'm not gonna lie, but them going to Impact does make a bit more sense, because Impact actually has a women's tag division.
Right.
But it almost, I agree, would have been maybe nicer to have had them just show up at Impact Wrestling. Whether it's show up at Bound for Glory or show up at this week's tapings, just show up and be like, we're here. Because they did. They showed up on Impact on Thursday. So they could have.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. I think it was on Thursday. It was just in an interview segment. They had Decay interviewing, and then Inspiration came in, something like that, or maybe it was the other way around. Inspiration were being interviewed and Kate came in, but it would have been a bigger impact if it had just been like, we're back here with the newest signees to Impact Wrestling, the Inspiration,
right?
But instead of announcing it in advance, however, I do see DA Fabe's thing. I just want to fucking know now. I'm tired of waiting on a lot of these people, right?
Well, it's happening so often that it's nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is gonna happen.
Well, that's what keeps you guessing and going and moving, and it builds your it builds your patience up again, guys. We've all lost our ability to be patient anymore. Don't you guys want that back? I mean, as we get older, I think we do tend to lose our patience anyways. That's just a thing we get.
I'm ADD as fuck. I don't have patience. I never did.
Never did. Okay, fair.
Nope.
Fair. I'm sure you did a
eating
lot.
Raisins because I'm impatient for food.
Well, that's just because you're a fat ass. That has nothing to do with your patience.
I also have pistachios. Delicious.
Oh, nice.
But you don't have any almonds?
No almonds.
No
Everybody
almonds?
loves almonds.
Everybody does almonds. Don't you like almonds?
Jump out of the car. I love that commercial. Anyway, the other, and I did have another part. I had 2 decent-sized crimes that weren't full crimes. This one is to AEW. Smarks, get your guns ready. Okay. We haven't even seen Hangman versus Kenny Omega yet.
Oh, yeah.
And we're doing a tournament for the title. Number 1 contender. And I can tell Smarks is all sorts of ready. And I understand the chip is supposed to be at a later date. We did a number 1 contender match. That was it.
So 2 things. No, the chip is not number 1 contender match. The chip is a Money in the Bank. It's a Money in the Bank. So like Big E was not the number.
Use it.
No, it's just best to think of it that way. You can't randomly use it, but it's not. You didn't win the number 1 contendership. You won the ability to cash in that chip at some point and say, I want a shot at the title. That's all it is.
The rankings in? What use of the rankings in?
No, the rankings are a different thing altogether. If you wanna bag on the rankings, why they need a number 1 contender match if they got rankings, I'll be on your side on that one. But for this, there's 2 reasons I'm not angry at it. Number 1, the chip is not a number 1 contender. The chip is I get a match. That's all it is. Number 2, the finals for the number 1 contender tournament are going to be at Full Gear. The match Hangman Page is cashing the chip in for is also going to be at Full Gear. So the winner of the number 1 contenders tournament is going to be the number 1 contender for whoever wins Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page at Full Gear. Now, if you want to go on about the rankings and everything, I'm all for it. I think the rankings have been probably the biggest unfulfilled promise that AEW made from the beginning, because they said wins and losses are going to matter. We're going to have rankings and all of that shit. And then, the rankings sometimes don't make any fucking sense.
Well, yeah,
and B, even if they do make sense.
What makes 13-1 Miro, this year's record, 13-1 Miro, ranked 4 spots behind the number 1 contender, Adam Page, at 12-1. What makes 13-1 Miro ranked 3 spots behind number 2, Orange Cassidy, other than entertainment value?
Yeah.
What makes him ranked right behind 24-4 Lance Archer? Jade Cargill has yet to have a title shot. She's number 1 contender and 16-0. Better record than Dr. Britt Baker. Statlander only lost to Dr. Britt Baker. But Tay Conti, 27-4, second, ahead of Chris Statlander.
Well, I think it's the rankings for this year, though. She hasn't wrestled 27 times this year, has she? Or is that full
27-4 this year. Overall, 48.
Oh, wow. Damn. Okay.
You're right. She hasn't wrestled 27 times this year. She's wrestled 31. Singles matches. Tay Conti.
Okay. Huh.
What makes Tay Conti 2 positions above Thunder Rosa? Just tell us the formula you're using. And if it's because she's the hot hand right now, then she's the hot fucking hand.
Mm-hmm.
If Jade Cargill doesn't have 20 wins under her belt overall, which she doesn't, Okay, let's go ahead and say that. That's
Yeah.
why you have to have 20 wins under your belt to challenge.
I think the thing that they always talk about is quality of win. And I get it, right? That's something that we, when watching football in America here,
then show
have
us
to
the
deal
fucking
with.
formula.
But that's the deal. Come up with the formula and say, listen, 13 of her wins were against unranked opponents.
Yeah.
So, or make things clear. Say, listen, when you get your shot, you get a shot at the title. If you lose, you go to the back of the line, right?
Yeah.
And they're not clear of that. I 100% agree with you on this. Their title, their ranking system is shit. It is, as I said, probably the biggest unfulfilled promise from before.
I love that they have it, but right now, it's no different than WWE releasing their rankings every week.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
So, and I also feel like the TBS Championship's kind of been thrown under the radar. It didn't get as much attention the second week as it.
Yeah, like I said, I still feel that the TBS Championship was a
supposed
punt.
to be something else. Yeah,
I think it was. I think it was originally going to be the replacement for the TNT belt when they moved both shows off of TNT, and then when the decision was decided to keep one of the shows on TNT, Rampage, they were like, well, then we're gonna keep the TNT belt. So
we've already announced the new belt.
We've already paid for this belt. Okay, we'll make it a women's belt. My biggest problem with the TBS belt is how are you going to have
Holy shit, JLB.
Yeah, seriously, what you been eating?
He must took his headset off.
Yeah, how you going to have your mid-card women's title be bigger than your women's championship title, right? Because there's no doubt it is. It looks like it's basically the same size as the TNT title, right? It looks like it's the same mold and everything, just with a TBS plate instead of TNT, basically. It's not as bejeweled as the new TNT title that Sammy Guevara has, but it looks like it's the same size. It looks like almost identical. So now you're going to have a TBS title holder, probably some like Jade Cargill. I would bet it's going to be one of their up-and-comers get it. Maybe not Jade right now, but I don't imagine they're going to put it on like Hikaru Shida. I don't imagine they're going to put it on Thunder Rosa right now. I think those people have established as main eventers and are going to be always going after the women's title. And so it's going to go on one of the lower card people, but they're going to be walking around with a bigger belt than your main champion, right? And yes, they did. They made the main championship belt bigger, but it's still going to be smaller than this. I don't have a problem with the design of the TBS belt. I kind of like the idea of continuity with the TNT title, make it basically look the same. I get it. But
I'm trying to find the actual tournament.
I don't think they've 100% announced all the people in it yet.
They had, because number 10 was facing someone.
I don't think they'd announced it yet. I know they announced
Here it is. Yes, it was on. They did a tweet on it. Because Mira was left out. This was the other piece. To this
yeah, you're talking about the number one contenders tournament. Sorry,
yes.
You're talking about the women's
So
tournament.
number 10, not in the top 5.
This was going to be something I was going to be talking about. Yeah, this was something I was going to be talking about on it because here's the deal. This tournament
just lost to CM Punk.
Yeah, this tournament, I think it was going to be one of my misdemeanors because the thing is, people in this tournament, I think we know the winner of this. We know the final and probably the winner.
It's Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, the final is going to be Bryan Danielson versus Moxley, probably. I would bet.
Yeah, I thought maybe Cassidy.
Cassidy would be my second choice from that side, but I figure The semifinal on that side of the bracket is going to be Moxley versus Orange Cassidy, and then the final is going to be Moxley, and then the other side, I just see fucking Danielson just wiping the floor.
It'll be Danielson, Lance Archer, and Danielson will put on a good match.
No, there will be a lot of great matches, but
in fact, Lance Archer and Eddie Kingston will be fucking fire.
Yeah,
that'll probably be the best match in the first round.
Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of great matches on it, but there's not, in my mind, a lot of suspense. And now, who knows? Maybe they'll fucking surprise us, and fucking Eddie Kingston is gonna be in the final or some shit like that.
What we do know, so there's a reason that Adam Page obviously is not in this tournament. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Orange Cassidy is in this tournament. Moxley is in this tournament. Lance Archer is. Miro's not.
Mm-hmm.
Why have rankings if Miro's not going to be in there?
Mm-hmm. And I think some of it comes down to, for me, you need to abide by your rankings. If you're going to have rankings, then have the tournament be the top 8
based off
people
your
in the
ranking.
rankings.
Yeah,
right.
Top 9. It'd be the second 8 because obviously Adam Page has his title shot after that.
Yeah.
But are you telling me that Powerhouse Hobbs should probably be above Miro or Dustin Rhodes, who we know isn't in their top 10?
Yeah. He's the name that's kind of stuck with me the most from all of the people on that.
Number 10 bugs me a little bit, but
here's the reason number 10 doesn't bug me is especially on Dark, they've been pushing him really heavily as this powerhouse that comes out, and that's why they're pushing him kind of the same as Powerhouse Hobbs, in the fact that he's this big guy who just throws people around, right? They need to establish it more on TV. That's a valid criticism. We don't see it enough on their television product to really buy into it. But
I just flat out won't buy into Dustin Rhodes.
But Dustin Rhodes,
Eddie Kingston, yeah. I can believe. All right, yeah. I mean, I know you're not going to go all the way, but we want to know where you really stand. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I'll take it.
Suppose I probably shouldn't.
Have any of you guys watched The Roads to the Top?
I have not. I have a tough time with that type of reality show. I really have a hard time with it. I want to watch it, but at the same point, I find myself just like rolling my eyes halfway through most of those. I can't watch Ms. and Mrs. at all. I just and part of the problem is these are pitched as reality shows, but they very easily fall over into this thing where you can tell 9 times out of 10 that Miz is playing up for the camera, right? This whole thing is, I've got a camera on me, so I'm gonna do the whack stuff. I'm gonna be the jackass, right? I'm gonna probably not put that slogan on the baby merchandise. That's although it would be really funny, a baby onesie that says, "Who the fuck is this?"
Another piece of the rankings, just to light those up a little bit. So if you move to the back because you lost, why the fuck are the Young Bucks the number 1 contender or the number 1 ranked behind?
I agree. Yeah, they lost. Unless you institute an official rule that you, if you are the champion and you lose, you get your rematch. You're the number 1 contender until your rematch. That's fine. But you have to, again, make it a rule. Make it something repeatable, something that we can follow and make sense.
Sure. Sure. Well,
and then how does that work for like the AAA championship? You have the AAA championships there. FTR freaking comes in and wins those titles. Were they the top ranked 1 tag team in AEW? But does it matter because it's not an AEW championship? It's a AAA championship. Well, you got to give me some ground rules there as well. Even though it was a whole scheme.
Yeah, the thing with that is it was a challenge and exception, right? So Andrade challenged the Lucha Brothers and said, "I bet you can't beat my team." And the Lucha Brothers accepted, which will always happen in professional wrestling outside of the rankings, right?
Right.
you will get someone who says, I might not be the number one contender, but I want a shot at that belt. And if you're man enough, you'll defend it. And then, either they'll be heels and be like, nah, I ain't going to defend it with you. You haven't earned your shot. Or they'll be the face champions and be like, I'll take any contender. I'll take any challenger,
or you'll be a heel challenger and you'll just attack them from behind and be like, now I have a title shot.
Yeah. That's all. And so those always are exceptions to the rankings thing. But AEW made a really big deal when they first started off that wins and losses are going to matter and rankings are going to matter. And they haven't delivered on that. And frankly, I would rather they just get rid of the weekly rankings.
Right. Yeah.
And just no longer post that.
This person's been a hot hand. That's fine.
That's fine. If
put a red hot hand in front of their name tag, like, oh, he's the hot hand. Okay, so he's not doing the ranking.
So
no, I thought it was funny. Screw you guys. Thank you. It's fake as fuck, but thank you. But no, that's fair. That's fair.
It was really funny.
So I'll agree with you on the rankings. I disagree on the number one contender tournament just because I get that
they're setting it up to protect Kenny.
Well, and Hangman is not technically the number one contender.
He's the number one ranked contender.
But yet it's a challenge exception, right? Because it's the casino battle royale where he won
the casino chip.
chip.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the fact that the finals are also, this is the other side of it. The fact that the finals are happening the night of the match, right, also means even if he's the number one contender, after that match, he will not be the number one contender anymore, right? He will either be the failed challenger, go to the back of the line, or the champion, therefore no longer number one contender. So this tournament is to figure out who's going to be number one contender after that.
I thought this was happening before that match.
I think it was just a bit much. He went a little too quick. I guess you want your next...
The match will probably take place before it, but the final is on the same night, right? And so just like the person who wins a number one contender match on SmackDown doesn't immediately go but the finals are happening at full.
I thought Kenny had to face the winner of the tournament and then face.
No.
Oh, no.
The final
winner of the tournament is facing Kenny or Hangman whenever
at a future
their match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Too many freaking tournaments. I mean, between the shitty Queen tournament that WWE is doing, I don't care about the WWE men tournament for that. And then you just had. Then you have AEW doing this tournament to see who's going to be the number one contender of the number one contender. Just a bit much. I don't care for tournaments, guys. Like you're not giving me much.
Shitty Queen tournament. What are you talking about?
Queen of the Ring.
I mean, I went to the bathroom for 4 minutes last week during wrestling. Did I miss all of it?
You went to the bathroom for 8 minutes out of that whole week, so then you must have missed it. It must have been right during smack of all the women matches.
I mean, in fairness, I have seen how long he takes in the restroom.
Tony Storm.
So eight minutes is an understatement. I mean,
I don't have a problem with the winners and losers. We actually talked about this last Sunday.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with who won or who lost, really.
I have a problem with Tony Storm losing.
As long as it plays into a few storyline, which WWE is not known recently for doing, but I'm going to give them at least a little benefit.
I don't know why you give them the benefit.
Because here's the
I don't know why this is a thing.
They're playing up. Zelina Vega is back. They're trying to push her again. I get it right there. The same thing with the other Carmella versus Liv Morgan. They're playing this long-term feud with Carmella and Liv Morgan right now. That's playing into the thing. So I don't have a problem with the winners of those matches.
Just don't have her lose to Tony Storm or win against Tony Storm. Why are you going to ruin Tony Storm.
I don't think losing ruins. I think how they lose can ruin. And this is something I'm consistent on with this over the 2 years of this podcast. Is someone losing is not necessarily burying them, and it doesn't necessarily kill their character. It's
Right.
how they lose, right? The fact that Karrion Kross lost to Jeff Hardy wasn't the problem. The fact that he lost in 30 seconds was the problem. Right.
The schmoz.
Right.
The schmoz, right. The fact that Tony Storm lost to Zelina Vega is not the problem. It's how that lost. If that had been a 10-minute long match, and they all got their big spots in, and Zelina Vega was able to sneak out a victory, maybe even cheat to win, sort of a thing, I wouldn't have any problem with it whatsoever. None at all. I don't have a problem with the win.
Right.
I don't have a problem with Carmella
Zelina
beating.
lies. She cheats. She steals.
I don't have a problem with Liv Morgan losing to Carmella, because that's part of a storyline they're telling. As long as they
that
keep
I
it
didn't
going.
mind either. Yeah.
But and the same with the ones on Raw. I'm totally blanking on who won on Raw this week. Shayna. Shayna's the only one that I didn't have a problem with it being a relatively fast match. Because it was against her. Yeah, and it was against Dana Brooke, who hasn't been booked strong anyways. So of course you want Shayna,
who hasn't been been built strong since her debut.
Yeah.
Shayna versus Mela.
So what are they gonna do with Shayna versus Doudrop though? Like, how the hell is that gonna work?
Well, I don't even know. I mean, I would.
How
assume,
do you make any of them lose? Like,
well, I mean, I would assume that they're building up to a semifinal match between Doudrop and Shayna. Just to, I don't know.
Did Doudrop beat Mela? No.
Doudrop's on Raw, Mela's on SmackDown right now, so none of them face. It was Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke this week in a rematch from last week.
And Doudrop beat someone at some point, but I don't know. It was a minute and 46 seconds that I
a total of 8
recall.
minutes between them all. The biggest, like I said, my biggest problem from all of it was not who won, but how won and how fast. And especially when you compare it to the men's, right? The same 4 matches, 2 on SmackDown, 2 on Raw for men, add up to 40 minutes. 8 minutes, 8.5 technically for the women, 40 minutes for the men, right? That's an astounding statistic. That's discrepancy is
Queen's Crown as it currently sits. Here's the bracket. Sorry. I just gotta tweet it. Why can't you just fucking do it? So Zelina versus Mela, Doudrop versus Baszler.
Yeah. So Doudrop had her win. I can't remember who it was against, but
Natty.
it was and it was a 3-minute match. It was the longest of the
matches.
Of the women's matches.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. The Liv Morgan Mela one pisses me off the most. More than Toni Storm versus Zelina Vega. Because Zelina Vega, being as fast as she is, could just I mean, how it happened was not right, but she hits a poison rod out of nowhere. That's a done deal. Mela versus Liv Morgan is a feud that's been building before this.
Yeah,
for a while.
That's it.
Like, do something with that.
It's a WWE for you.
The thing I will say that bugs me is the fact that while they're doing this Queen's Crown tournament, with I'm assuming the semifinals are going to happen, maybe both tomorrow on Raw, because the final is at Crown Jewel. So,
but have to be
Thursday.
on Raw.
Thursday.
Yeah, so they have to do them both on Raw or whatever. My problem is simply this: they're already building to Shayna Baszler being on SmackDown with her siding with Sonya Deville on SmackDown.
I like that segment. I don't agree who they did it to, but I do like that segment. I thought that was cool. I'm like, all right, you're gonna be back with Sonya. Let's go. You shut your face.
I have a problem with it from this standpoint. It has nothing to do with it being Naomi, right?
Okay.
Has absolutely nothing. I have a problem with it from this standpoint. We finally got them building Shayna Baszler as a solo monster. And now they're just going to throw her back into a team again.
That's not a team. That's not a team.
It's not a team. That's more of an authority figure. Yeah.
Yep.
I almost guarantee they're going to be in tag team matches together. And yeah, you can say it's an authority figure and a sidekick and all this stuff. I want to see Shayna Baszler is not the authority figure lap hound.
Sidekick. Right.
Shayna Baszler should be the fucking Stone Cold who just rips through everyone in opposition.
She is Stone Cold, circa 2003.
Yeah. When Stone Cold sucked.
After WrestleMania X7.
And so that's where my problem comes from. It. I don't have a problem with them beating the crap out of Naomi. Now I would much prefer a program with Shayna Baszler versus Sonya Deville.
I think that is what it's going to lead to, though.
I want to.
I think
you don't want to see
her you being more like Edge, using Sonya's authority to get the matches she wants.
And if they do that, I'm all for it. Did you just poop on company time?
No.
Okay.
I heard that too, and I'm like, what was that?
It sounded like a flush in the background.
It did. I don't know where it was coming from though.
My mom pooped on company time.
Oh. That's what it was, his mom.
But yeah,
that's hilarious though.
It's well, my room's not far away from the bathroom, so unfortunately,
no, that's okay.
Tell your mom she owes us back pay. Then we're gonna
buy a shirt. Buy a shirt. Who the fuck is this? The ultimate Mother's Day gift.
I wonder how that looks on a toque.
What? Who the fuck is this?
Yeah,
you can go and find it.
Nice.
It's up on the spreadshirt.
Literally was uploaded while we've been.
Yes,
in the podcast.
You've seen me looking.
He's been
down.
paying attention. He's been paying more attention to the freaking design than he has this podcast. I kid. Is there anything else we should talk about, or can we leave you to your designs?
Well, we can move on to misdemeanors and then commendations if we're done.
Snap. Yes.
Complaining about the AEW rankings and then the WWE tournament thing. Again, I don't have a problem with who won. I have a problem with how they won. Because in the end, the Shayna Baszler is obviously building up to the Doudrop versus Shayna Baszler in the semifinals. I guess are we gonna see Doudrop win and go on? Is that what the final is going to be? Doudrop?
Oh man, I think so. I think Doudrop's winning
because somehow or another, and I see it.
Okay.
See it.
I'm not losing my mind.
No, you definitely are losing your mind.
What I was going to say is,
no, we won't. We absolutely will not see Doudrop in the finals.
We definitely will.
Shayna Baszler next. Oh, really? She's going to beat Baszler.
Well, the fact that Baszler's not going to be on Raw anymore,
exactly.
and Doudrop is. This is going to be their only shot for Doudrop to get her come up and get her win.
And it's going to make her look credible and everything.
I am telling you.
I mean, I'm not going to watch the final, so it doesn't matter to me. But in the end,
Baszler will be the queen for a feud with Charlotte Flair. Guaranteed.
No,
I know. I don't think that's gonna happen. But
I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet with you if you'd like.
I will go this side of it and say I don't think Doudrop should be in the final Not for any wrestling related things. The finals are taking place in Saudi Arabia, and I do not think Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's crazy. They're pushing so much. They're pushing so they're doing a bunch of women stuff, which is great. I understand that's great, and they're accepting of it. But then you're just doing too much now. Now you're gonna have a queen of the ring there. Women are gonna be empowering to another extent. Like I'm like, guys,
I don't think Saudi Arabia is ready for Dewdrop. I think that's what it comes down to. Is
that too?
I don't think Saudi Arabia has gotten to the point culturally that they will accept
accessories. I'm sorry.
Probably if you click on the thing,
Jana's big and tall. Hoodies and sweatshirts. My bad, but yeah, that should be interesting. I didn't realize the finals were actually at Crown Jewel. So the fact that you're having a triple threat women's and then another Queen of the Ring, I almost feel like the Prince, the King, whatever, is not gonna be down with this. I don't know, man. Like I'm interested. That's all I'm saying. It's great. But
I'm gonna take that bet right now, JLB. Okay.
Yeah, you're saying Shayna's winning?
Share. I'm gonna say Shayna win. No, I'm saying Shayna beats Dewdrop.
Okay, so look, we'll bet on any item you want at the Raw and Order WBU shop.
Hold on, I'm gonna show you. This is the item. No, because if I win, you have to buy the shirt I tell you.
Yeah.
Okay?
What do you mean? For you or for me to wear?
For you to wear.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay, and you have to wear it on the podcast.
JLB is a whore, isn't it?
Nope. Yeah, I can already see which one it is, and it is not that.
Uh-oh.
You gotta wear your face.
Okay.
Wear my face.
You have to purchase that shirt for yourself. If I'm correct, and Shayna beats Dewdrop, go ahead and share what you want to be on there.
Oh, okay. I am definitely making a shirt, and your face gonna be on it. We'll see. We'll see. I am designing a shirt specifically for Thursday. Limited time offer.
We'll get to work on it.
Was it going to say something like specifically? Because you just said specifically.
I said specifically?
Yes.
Specifically.
That is not okay. Specifically.
Specifically. I didn't say specifically.
It can be right up there with him saying library earlier.
I said library. Oh my God. I'm going to rewatch this and I'm going to
You should ask your mom what you said. Go ask her. Go ask her.
Ask her.
That would piss me off more.
Ask her a question.
That is the number one mispronounced word that pisses me off.
Which is fucked up.
I'm gonna ask you something.
I'm gonna ask you something. Like that's weird.
I.
Yeah, I got that song in my head. I don't know what song that's from. I feel like that is Black Sabbath. No? Yes. Black Sabbath.
So we'll go ahead and move on to misdemeanors. I'm gonna try to get some control back on this podcast.
It went into the other room.
I think we found someone who has more ADD than you two, though.
Fucking bug, man.
I've
killed like 6 bugs during this podcast, and I showed you guys one of them.
Well, in fairness, we saw a kind of dark splotch on your hand. I mean, you really could have just drawn it with a Sharpie, and it would have looked the same. So,
did I draw those two? Did I draw that?
Oh my!
Right there.
You might have. I did.
Right there.
That's fucking
again
huge.
Those. Well, those could have been just drawn on. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Don't make him go close to it.
Those are large, but they're nothing compared to the mosquitoes I saw living down in New Orleans.
That's what your wife said.
I don't live in New Orleans.
Yeah, No,
It's
but that's my point.
October in Nebraska. They're slow, and I still can't catch the fuckers.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. No, JLB was like, "Wow, they're huge," and I'm saying they're big, but they're just not as big as New Orleans. Like New Orleans, those mosquitoes had dogs.
That's what she said.
You came out of your house and you saw a mosquito just standing there, like, "What are you looking at?" Nothing. But so we'll move on. Misdemeanors. I'll go ahead and start with my misdemeanors because I think it kind of relates to something we talked about earlier. My misdemeanor is on everyone making a big deal about the full year matches leaked by Tony Khan picture that came out, where it has all of these matches listed on it, you know, and
I can hardly read that chicken scratch shit.
Yeah, and people.
Well,
zoomed
someone
in and figured
freaking
out.
did though. Yeah,
People zoomed in and figured out. But here's my thing: is right. I fully believe that Tony Khan 100% knew what he was doing. Right.
Yeah.
He knew that in this day and age, people would look at that and read into it and all this stuff. And he knew that this gives him. He's got a month to tweak the card now, based on what people say in response to that. You know, that card's not fully set one way or another, right?
Exactly.
He's still deciding and all this stuff, but he can hear someone says, "Oh, I didn't like this match. There was going to be Moxley versus fucking Daniel Garcia." I don't even remember what it was, you know, but I don't like that match. And so you can be like, okay, it looks like the crowd isn't behind that match, so we're going to get rid of that one. And then some people are like, "Oh, I really like this Bryan Danielson versus so-and-so match." Okay, that looks like it's getting good response. Maybe I put that on the card. On top of it, he can use this subterfuge and, you know, have everyone's talking about these matches that they're almost certain are going to come up on the full gear card. And then suddenly, boom, matches out of left field. Swerve. Oh, geez, we didn't see this coming. This is 100% right up his alley. Tony Khan's not a dumb guy.
Right.
Now,
Right.
do I think those matches are official for full gear? I think some of them were matches that he was playing with the idea. I think he was at the football game because a picture was at the Jaguars game taken at like halftime. I think he was sitting in the box, you know, brainstorming ideas for full gear. Saying these are the matches, these are the ones that I know are going to place. These are other matches, you know. If I do this and this now over this next month, I can lead to this match, you know. So this could be a cool match. And then someone's like, "We're going to take a picture and everything." He's like, "Well, let's see what the crowd thinks of this." You know, put it out there, and they're gonna look at it and they're gonna see it, and some people are gonna bitch because they don't like this match or that match. But in the end, he's had a month to tweak this now.
Exactly.
I think that's why.
I had no problem with it. I knew exactly what he was doing, so I was like, "Yeah, genius."
Yeah. So let's figure for.
Yeah.
That's why my charge is towards all of the people just throwing a fit over it because they are like, "Oh my god, how could you leak the card? How could he do all this?"
Who cares? Just look at the matches. Like I saw the leaked card, and then I'm like, well, you know what? If this is kind of the card, I'm down. You know what I mean? Like, might not want Cody Rhodes to be on it, but I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna like all matches. You know.
Well, and I mean, a perfect example. The Cody Rhodes actually brings it up. A perfect example in that because it shows that he does not know yet. This isn't final. So, AEW World Champion Omega versus Hangman Page is at the very top of the list, right? Going down it next was Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson, which right now, if we were looking at the tournament for the number one contender, that looks like, in my opinion, the smart money for the finals for that, right? Inner Circle versus American Top Team. Well, they're obviously building in some way for that, right? For it to be a final, like a 6-man tag or a 12-man tag or 10-man tag, something like that. MJF versus Darby Allen. Well,
yeah, obviously
they're
that's happening.
obviously leading towards that. CM Punk versus Wardlow. That's one kind of out of left field.
Yeah,
that's out of left field. That could be just an idea that he's playing with. again, this could be 100% him saying, I want to see what the crowd reaction to the possibility of CM Punk versus Wardlow.
Right.
Oh, they reacted really well, then let's make sure it happens. Oh, they don't like it, then let's get rid of it. Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill. That very easily could be like the TBS title tournament of some sort, like the finals or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Cole versus Christian Cage. The
Possible.
feud kind of leads to that, so it's possible. But again, I almost think that this is just another one of those. He put it on there to see what people think of it. And
all his rage, he is still just a Christian Cage.
Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. They're leading that way. Very plausible. Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black, or maybe Andrade, or maybe Miro. That's literally the way it's written on the thing. He doesn't know which one he wants. So, so in the end, oh look, another ink spot. I'm just waiting to see the steam come off of his head.
Focus, motherfucker. Focus. Focus. Damn it.
It's not gonna. Oh Jesus! It's still not focused, but all right. I believe you. I believe you. It's not happening.
Tag team
carry on,
champions,
by the way.
Lucha Brothers versus FTR.
Yep. Clearly, they're heading that route.
Yeah. Women's champion Britt Baker versus ? He doesn't have someone filled into that, right?
Ruby Soho. No, it's not going to be. But
No.
I think
According
right now
to the rankings, it'll be Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not gonna be
but
yet.
Jade Cargill's already on this versus Thunder Rosa, so I could see Chris Statlander being a fill-in there.
Take Conti, Karushida.
Yeah, Ty Conti could definitely be there. Hikaru Shida, although it's looking like Hikaru Shida's got her feud still with Serena Deeb. Maybe.
Yep.
So who knows?
Indeed.
Indeed. So, but in the end, again, my crime is not against the leaked card. My crime is against everyone who's just blowing it up like this, because that card number one, how many matches was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 matches, right?
Yeah.
Do we really think we're going to get 11 matches at Full Gear?
No. Of course
No.
not.
I think 9 would even be pushing it. So that means there's at least 3 of those that are probably going to get cut or changed one way or another. I would not be surprised if we didn't see some sort of surprise at Full Gear or leading up to it, whether it is a Buddy Matthews type or a Braun Strowman type or a Wyndham Rotunda or whatever. But
there's no Dark Order, huh?
None, not
At
on
least-
that. No,
Not on his.
not on that
leaked-
there. And
unleaked
God. It's
Okay,
gonna
are you that
happen,
annoyed?
Sparks, and you're gonna be that pissed.
Cult of
What?
Wyndham.
No dark order on that sheet.
there is no Dark Order. I
Wyndham
will
Rotunda.
100%.
Doesn't mean it's official.
I will say right now that I will be the first person on this podcast to give Tony Khan and AEW a crime if Wyndham Rotunda comes in as the new leader of the Dark Order. That is not the right
That's
play
the-
for him.
Quickly kicked out leader of Dark Order.
Yeah.
Dan the Dad, AEW contract.
Yeah. That ultimately, that's the way to do it. Wyndham Rotunda is the leader of it, and then Dan the Dad comes in and is like, "Hey guys, I don't really like this new guy you're hanging out with. I think he's a bad influence. I don't think he's good for you guys.
You remember
I
that
don't-
one kid that you guys hung out with?
Yeah, I don't want you hanging out with him anymore. I'm telling you that, right? If you keep hanging out with them, I'm gonna take away your allowances. There has to be consequences. This will hurt me more than it hurts you.
Uno's a dick.
Uno is a dick. So that's my misdemeanor. I think we're gonna get some surprises, and I think at least half of those matches aren't gonna happen at Full Gear. That's what I think. So who else got misdemeanors?
I just got an accommodation. I don't know anymore for misdemeanors.
Accommodation, like the hotel room.
An accommodation. You got hotel rooms.
I got an I don't know anymore. I always get confused.
Commendation.
I got a commendation.
Then if Fabe doesn't have a misdemeanor, we will move on to commendation.
Hold on, I'm thinking.
Hold on. He's doing the thinking beard man.
Yes, I do have one misdemeanor.
Okay.
To you fuckers for not thinking that Shayna Baszler is going to win that fucking tournament.
I think they've already moved on to Shayna Baszler. Going to be on SmackDown. She's going to be now the authority figure on SmackDown. I don't think
I can't wait to design a stupid shirt for you to wear.
I still 100% think that this is good because this is going to be Doudrop's only chance to get a win against Shayna Baszler after they were building up this feud for weeks with her. And so now again, I don't think it's the right choice. I don't think Saudi Arabia is ready, and I don't think they're going to get behind her as a contender in the final at it.
Well, she'll be wearing a t-shirt, full body t-shirt and stuff.
Well, yeah, she'll be dressed in a burlap sack.
But burqa.
Yeah.
And a t-shirt.
But in the end, I'm saying from a cultural standpoint, Saudi Arabia is not progressive enough to accept her.
Question for you before I design it, because it is kind of rude, but also kind of funny. And I want to just get your take on it, if you'd be willing to wear it. So I'm thinking I'm wrong with a short dong on one side of the shirt and then half your face on the other side in a cartoon format. Too much, or would you actually wear that?
I mean,
too much. It's too much.
We'll have a shirt burning the next episode. That's fine. I'll wear it for one episode.
I mean, ultimately, here's the deal. An embarrassing bet.
I picked a shirt that he designed.
Yeah.
I mean, I could make you a stupid one for me too.
You want to chit chat with him about a shirt to design for the stupid shit that I say. There's one on his chest right there that says Sasha Bear.
Sasha Bear is awesome. Yeah.
I said that stupid shit.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Motherfucker.
My daughter calls it a panda bear. She looks at me every time I wear that and says, "Daddy, that panda bear is wearing pink pants." And I go, "Well, baby, it's not a panda bear. But yes, bear. It is wearing pink pants. So, she's at least right there."
1 out of 2 ain't bad. She's halfway there. In
the end, here's what I will say to you, JLB. When it comes to designing the loser shirt for it, these sorts of bets are not based on if I win, would you be willing to, right? I've seen some people,
but it's kind of insulting.
I've seen some people get tattoos of penises because they lost one of these bets.
We're friends here.
These were bets between friends. It was over some football game or whatever, and if you lose, you get a tattoo.
I happen to know the guy.
Well, no, I just say it's kind of unfair. It's because it's something you designed and it's funny. Just because it's something you designed and it was funny.
It is 100% funny to force someone to get a tattoo with a penis on it.
It wasn't a penis. It was a unicorn with a penis for the corn.
Yes. It's still a penis.
On the left side of his cheek.
I think he has it on his thigh about 3/4 of the way up. I don't know if he got a cover up. I should ask him.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
He had to keep it for a year.
Damn.
That's the one you were thinking of, right, Smarks?
That 100% was the one. Well, that was the main one. I've known other people who've had to get tattoos based on stupid bets. There was a reason I didn't play a part in that particular bet because I'm not willing to get it. I'm not dumb enough to get a tattoo.
And I knew the other competitors. Like, I wasn't gonna pick a shirt.
Wasn't it a fantasy football league?
Yes, it was a fantasy football league.
So it was whoever was the loser, the bottom one of the fantasy football league.
The champion of it got the buy-ins. got a portion of the money and got to pick the other person's tattoo.
Yep. And by the way, the loser didn't know shit about shit when it came to football. Had never played fantasy football before.
Oh, idiots.
Yeah.
Anyway, and he gets involved into this fantasy dong tattooing contest.
Yeah. Well, he didn't know it was going to be a dong. You know, that's the whole point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of.
Well, I mean, I know my shirt was my thing, so that's why I had to feel compelled to ask him. Hey, I just thought of a funny one.
I'm sure my shirt's already there. Would upload my face onto a Sasha Bear shirt for one time.
I mean, I could do the same thing with half of my face, so it's even Steven on either side. So either way,
you make the design.
I'll make the design. That's fine.
Just we'll move on.
And I'll be stuck wearing it for an episode.
And you live rural enough that you can have a burning of your trash outside. And
after the episode, we'll go. Yes. There'll be a special bonus episode that night.
Maybe we'll put it up on Patreon. Patreon.com/RawnOrderWBU.
That's kind of cool.
So we'll go ahead and move on to commendations. So JLB already mentioned he's got a commendation, so let's do him first.
So kudos to my boy KO. Kudos to my boy KO for just keeping at with the teasing and commenting on everything. Whether it would be commenting on what fans are saying about his last match, and he was doing the thing on the turnbuckle, just had his head down kind of thing.
Oh, he was 100% checked out of that last match. He's like, yeah, fine, I'll beat him up. That's what I got to do. I'm told to do it. So,
yeah. So kudos to him for him to keep doing that. And I firmly believe he's not just. I don't think it's at this point, unless he's got me good. I don't think it's a negotiation tactic. I think he's honestly kind of just fed up too. It still can very well be the other way around as well, but I don't know. I just feel just the way that he goes out there too. I just feel like he's just kind of like, this is boring. This is just because I know he likes challenges. You know what I mean? He likes to challenge himself all the time. So I think he's genuinely unhappy, and money isn't necessarily going to change that if he's going to be doing the same shit over and over again. Unless, of course, it's like a good chunk of change. Sure. But at the same time, I feel like he would be more entertained by being challenged than more entertained by a large sum of money. Just as long as he has enough money for his fam jam, then he's fine. But he would still get with AE dubs anyways. And I think he would be challenged there more and have creative control. So kudos to KO for stepping his ground. And that's my accommodation, because I can't wait, guys. January 30th cannot come faster. Yeah. Let's get it. Let's go. 2022. Here we come.
Nope, they're gonna cut him January 15th, and then he'll have
a 90-day no compete. Yeah.
Wait, but if his contract ends on the 31st,
if they cut him at any time before his contract's up, he's got a 90-day. Yeah. If his contract now that there may be a float time in there where if they cut him within 30 days of his expiration date, he doesn't have the full 90 days or things like that. But
I would feel like they have to
almost all of the contracts before, they've literally done this before. When someone was asking to leave, they said, we want let out of our contract, and they said no. And then literally within a month before their contract was up, they cut them. So they had a 90-day no compete. WWE has literally done that before.
Brody Lee.
So, yeah, was that Brody Lee? That might have been even Brody Lee.
Yeah.
That's bitchy. Wow.
They also, I don't know, has Kevin Owens been injured any recently in the last year or two? Because they also have the ability to tack injury time onto the end of contracts.
Jeff Hardy.
Yep. They've done that before too. So,
but no, I don't.
That said, Jeff Hardy's injury time is over, and he's still there. So,
Yeah,
he's got to be knocking on the edge of his contract being up. But I would not be surprised to see him resign.
Yeah, I think Jeff Hardy and I'm treading carefully because I don't want to anger the Jeff Hardy fans or whatever. Jeff Hardy, as he is right now, is only worth it for AEW from a name recognition, and that's it. He is not the in-ring performer he once was. He's not the in-ring performer his brother still is. And it's sad because Jeff Hardy was my favorite of the Hardy Boys.
Right.
But he beat the crap out of his body.
He beat the crap out of his body, and his body doesn't hold up as much anymore. And unlike his brother, he has not changed his style to fit his new older body. Like Matt Hardy beat the fuck out of his body and then has adapted his style to be more friendly to his body now.
Right. Jeff Hardy definitely hasn't even done that. He doesn't go off 70-foot ladders anymore, but you know.
That brings us to another misdemeanor, unfortunately.
Okay.
Because Jeff Hardy, what are you doing a fall on your butt leg drop for in the seven-man chip contest thing? Battle Royale. You know the one I'm talking about, the ladder match.
Yeah, you're talking about Matt Hardy?
Matt Hardy?
Matt Hardy, so yes. doing the leg drop and falling on his butt, and could be easily injuring himself after he's made multiple statements that is why he's injured his back.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree on that.
As soon as he did it, I thought, what the fuck are you doing, man? Yeah. Sorry.
What the fuck is this? Or who
commendations. Commendations. I like competition. I don't like jaw jacking, but I like competition. So that was
straight up. Great for the fans. Stupid for the promoters. I enjoy seeing it as a fan. I guess I don't mind whatever. More drama, the better for me. But as a promoter, I think it's silly, stupid. Just kick their ass where it counts on the Darks and the Dynamites and the Rampages and the whatever. And you're clearly doing it. But as a fan, being a little baby bitch on Twitter, whatever. I'm here for it. As a promoter, I think it's stupid, and you're just giving the other competitor a little bit more juice to the flame and hoping you do something stupid like spend $100 million on something when you didn't need to just to prove you have a bigger dick. No, not needed. And I agree. Good sir.
I wish I had $100 million.
I know.
Tony Khan, hook us up.
Yeah, man. Hook us up. You got $2 billion, bro. You're worth $2 billion. Holla if you hear me.
Yeah, I think you guys would be shocked what I would do for a couple $1,000. I'm just saying, you know. I don't.
Would I?
Give a couple $1,000? I'll show you.
I've spent that money before.
You put it on the table, and we'll find it. I'll go.
We'll see if you'll do it again.
Well, I will go until you're shocked. That's all I'm saying, right? If what before doesn't shock you, I'll keep going until it does. There's no line here. I'm just
saying. What's $2,000 converted from Canadian to American? That's probably like $2,600, $2,800. It's about $3,000.
I'm telling you, be shocked. So my commendation, I've basically got one. It's just a really big one. And it plays into something.
She never said that.
It plays into something that this guy talked about on the other podcast that he's been cheating on us with. This guy here talks about it, right?
Cool.
And that's
but this guy listens to it, no problem. So
I can call you a whore. Yeah, okay. I go there so I can smash talk you. I'm the Tony Khan in this thing.
You put a GPS tracker.
I'm Tony Khan in this
thing. And then you go sit outside of her work and just watch her work. Nobody else does that. Nobody.
So mine is CM Punk on commentary, especially on Dynamite this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a commendation for that because he was awesome. I loved every second of him on commentary here. I loved the fact that when the opponents picked by Andrade came out, the whatever El Frogs, I don't know what the Spanish word for frog is, but that's what they were, right? Came out and he said, I mean, guys, let's not beat around the bush. That's obviously FTR. I loved that. Just that immediately cutting through this. Like, we're not going to pretend like this is actually some, we're not stupid enough to think that, right, guys? Right? Because we've had a lifetime of wrestling. We've had Cyclope, where it's been the American wrestler pretending to be the luchador, and then it turns out
we've had the conquistadors.
Yeah, and so I like the fact that he was like, we're not going to get bit by this again. That's obviously FTR. Look at that. That's Dax Harwood's body, right? I know that body shape, and I loved that. And of course Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross being like, oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe that is Tony. What do you think, Tony? Oh, I mean, that does kind of look like him, but I mean, we can't see their faces, so we don't know for sure.
Didn't Excalibur say, I've seen them wrestle in AAA or something?
He might have. I don't remember.
I feel like he might have said something like, oh, these guys were really good in AAA, da, da, da. And I'm like, okay, so then these are legit wrestlers. Because they looked off to me. It's just I wasn't sure if these were this was a AAA tag team, and I just don't know because I don't watch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was kind of caught off guard. And then when I saw it was FTR, I was like, man, I knew it.
Yeah, I liked the fact that CM Punk was just like, listen, guys, this is FTR. It's FTR. Are you guys really stupid enough to think that's not FTR? Right? And then later on in the night, I died laughing when Kiera Hogan came out for her match and started her match, and CM Punk was like, now, I don't want to stir up anything, but this Kiera Hogan, is there any relation? And then Shivani and Excalibur had to fucking scramble to be like, well, I know you're talking Hogan's Heroes, right? You're talking because no one wants to say Hulk Hogan on AEW. Hulk Hogan's banned from AEW, so they're not gonna say it. But I was at home dying watching them like scramble to be like, I don't know, maybe we're talking Hogan's Heroes. I don't think she's any relation to anything from Hogan's Hero. Are you talking Paul Hogan? Crocodile Dundee? I don't think that either. I mean, she's all. I loved every second of it. Give me more of that. CM Punk on commentary.
Yes. Yeah. In
agreed.
fact, let's just replace the commentary team with CM Punk and Chris Jericho. Just those two doing all the commentary.
No, we need Excalibur in there and Tony.
We need either Excalibur or Shivani. Yeah. Excalibur is really great for play-by-play.
I feel like CM Punk doesn't care enough.
Yeah.
And Jericho might not necessarily care enough.
I will also say that I am happy to see on Rampage that they've settled into Mark Henry backstage role a little bit more, because I do like his, and now it's time for the main event. I like that. I think it gives that a special feel. I just don't like him on the commentary. So
I don't think I like Starks on commentary though.
I don't hate him on commentary.
Maybe I don't hate him either, but I'm just like
I think the thing with him is he's a special attraction on commentary. We bring him in when Taz is here because he's part of FTR, he's part of Team Taz, FTW. Too many FTs in AEW. Anyways, but I think that's another one of those less is more. We need to be very sparse on it and bring him in maybe once a month tops, And I think they have been pushing it a bit there. So that's really my commendation there is just
I have a commendation.
Okay.
Welcome back, women of wrestling. 2 women of wrestling in particular. 1 Tessa Blanchard. 1 AJ Lee.
Mm-hmm. Now,
that happened already?
Well, it hasn't officially. It's been announced
for the for women
now,
wrestling to be restarted.
Yeah. Now, I will point out, it's very important to point out, AJ Lee is signed as a producer and content.
Yeah,
part of
she's
it.
not
Like,
a wrestler.
but she is not signed as a wrestler.
Still nice to have her.
But it's still nice to have her back. I'm happy to see her back and everything. It's
what
it's
are you
just
doing now?
Pulling out beard hairs. I have gray ones. I can see them in the video.
You have lots of them. Yes.
It's really
here's
gray.
the deal.
I mean, to be fair, all I see is gray.
Yeah, you're going to be pulling a lot of them.
You're going to pull a lot of them. At this rate, just shave.
Yeah, razor would be faster.
Oh, I made him sad. I'm sorry.
Hey, here's the deal. I've already fully understood that when this goes gray, I've got a job as a mall Santa already, and I'm looking forward to it because that's easy fucking money. I'm fat, get a big old gray beard, I'm good to go.
And he likes boys on his laps.
I don't fucking care. It's easy money. I don't care. You have not seen my bank account, especially around Christmas time. I've got a 3-year-old to buy Christmas presents.
For $3,000, random, smelly, haven't bathed yet, sick kids can sit on your lap.
I got bills to pay.
What about adults?
Dollar bills, y'all.
There's a surcharge. I mean, depending on size, I might need a knee replacement. So there's a little bit extra there.
Anyway, I just wanted to welcome those two back.
Yeah. I'm excited to see. I mean, Tessa Blanchard has worked for Women of Wrestling before. And so it's going to be exciting to see what sort of roster they put together and what broadcast sort of deal they end up having. Because it would be fun to watch. They Women of Wrestling before has always fallen into the more old school kayfabe sort of a thing where like people had gimmicks for the most part. Like there was I can't even remember what her name was, but like a jungle girl who, came out and was like Tarzan and walked to the ring on all fours and like she was a monkey. And there was a one who is a farmer or stuff like. I mean, they really stuck to that old school gimmicky sort of thing, which is fine. It can be really entertaining, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do for that now. But if that is all for commendations, then we will go ahead and wrap things up for the wrestling booking unit.
Wrap it up.
Do make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You can check all of the links in the doobly-doo down below for all of our social medias, places you can like and share it, our Patreon, our merch store, all our social medias, all there. The merch store already has the "Who the fuck is this?" shirt up on it. It's already good to go. So head on over to the merch store, check us out there, support us there, all of our great merch there. Social media, Patreon, all of that stuff. You can follow us all around on the social media. You can follow me at Raw and Order WBU, just like the title. It's on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. You can get to our page with at Pissant Podcast. That's
legit. You changed it to.
Well, there's a long story, but at Raw and Order WBU was not available for a long story reason. So
bastards. Okay.
But yeah, so at Raw and Order there, you can visit DA Vincent Kayfabe at
DA Vincent Kayfabe right there.
Mm-hmm. And then JLB is
at JLB4. What's next? No,
Real Talk Radio is the brand at Real Talk Radio 8. I am a total douchebag, and I say things like Big Net.
I mean, that is also very true, but anchor.fm/RTR. Of course, there is also the one that I'm whoring myself to, WTN, which is WTN Wrestling. That's more of a recap kind of show. It's more of a recap kind of show.
Oh, that's too fucking funny. That's
more of a recap show. And of course, you can follow me at. I'm just like looking all the time now. Of course, and yeah, anchor.fm/RTR, and that is pretty much it. At WTN Wrestling. Hey.
But yeah, like I said,
that'll only happen this week, but it was way too funny to not.
Oh no, that was great. That was well played.
I will be honest, I don't have a problem with WTN Wrestling and podcasts and everything.
And they're on it at a more convenient time.
They're on a more convenient time. I get it and everything. I've been trying to get them to come on here and you know, we're out on this
fucking late.
I get it. I understand, but I also got a 3-year-old and I can't do it at any other time. So
that's it. Exactly. It's all difficult. You people and your kids.
Yeah. I mean, I barely got the 3-year-old to bed in time to do this one. So,
damn.
she was wired today. Too many gummy worms.
Why gummy worms? Gummy worms they have sugar?
Too many.
Just lots of sugar. She was wired.
Yes.
Lots of sugar.
Yes, sugar. You obviously don't have kids if you don't understand.
Here in the States, we sell caffeinated gummy worms. I don't know if you know this, but they're fucking fantastic.
Clearly. You had a few too many yourself, huh?
Anyways, we will go ahead and wrap things up. Check out all the links in the doobly-doo. Thank you all for listening. We will see you soon.
Caffeinated gummy bears are also delicious.
We'll be right back.